maybe 30 minutes due to the fact that I'm stuck in this damn traffic. I was going to try to go to the mall and see can I grab a pair of those Jordan 4 red cements, but I don't want to take my chance. But at the end of the day, I just felt like it was my duty to basically try to educate you guys and tell y'all the real from what other people are doing. You know, I get it that these dudes want to have this fake allegiance to the PBC because Al Heyman is black. But I don't know how many times I got to tell you guys, Al Heyman don't give a damn about black people in the black community. Al only care about money and being in the best situation he can to prevail. And like I said before, and I know people trying to sit up here and basically try to save Frank Martin and basically tear down Shakur Stevenson because they going by what's supposed to happen right is not going to happen for at least 2 to 3 years. So stop trying to say this is karma for Shakur Stevenson and all this stuff. No, this is just the PBC doing what they do best, not really believing in their fighters and not taking any risks because they need to keep Frank Martin undefeated. So at least down the line, if there's a tank fight, they can sell this fight as 2 undefeated fighters. At the end of the day, Frank Martin made $75 grand his last fight, somewhere between 75 to 100 racks. And he trying to say that he got a lowball offer. Now all of a sudden, Monday he talking about they didn't send him a contract. Where was all, like I said, where was all this Tuesday? All of a sudden now you on social media. Well, where was all this? Where was this? Where was this? Oh, I ain't received no contract. Oh, there ain't gonna be no. Now all of a sudden, because people are ripping you to shreds for what it looks like you blatantly ducked the fight, pulled out of the fight. How can you get a low ball offer when you made less than 100 racks your last fight? 500 grand was gonna be a lucrative offer. And from what I heard, they was gonna give him $1 million plus an additional $250,000. So this man stood to make like over $1 million. And like I said before, see, I'm not worried about this stuff. So all these people that's making these videos, trying to save face and protect and cape for Frank Martin and cape for the PBC, thinking that, well, if I sit up here and protect the PBC and cape for the PBC, eventually I'm going to get access. They're going to let me in these fights and stuff. Yeah, they may let you in one fight. Maybe. But then what's going to happen is they're going to let a non-black dude in that may be white, Asian, or whatever race he may be, that got 1,000 subscribers to your 50,000 or to your 75,000. I'm just telling you the real. I'm just telling you the real. At the end of the day, people can sit up here and try to make excuses and justify. Like I said, stop comparing Shakur Stevenson and Devin Haney to this situation. A deal was in place. And here's the thing. The PBC, if they was going to pay more money for the fight, which the PBC don't like doing purse bids, they should have let it go to the purse bid, and the PBC could have paid, and the PBC could have bid on the fight. And then they would have had promotional rights. They would have been the top promoter. But at the end of the day, what's really going on is the truth is the PBC be getting owned by Top Rank. Every time they fighters go over there, they get whooped on. I mean, you seen what happened with Steve Fulton and Anyway. You saw what just happened with Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence. They couldn't afford to send Frank Martin over there and then he get his ass whooped and then have to go back to the PBC. At the end of the day, they talked the man out of the fight. All this stuff about he ain't that. Like I said, how can any offer be a low ball offer when you made less than 100 racks for your last fight? And if you think I'm lying, you can look it up. This information is available. But I get it, though. You go to those bigger channels, and they fill your head up with nonsense. You know what I'm saying? And AF, not artificial intelligence, artificial facts. Like I said, I don't know where this hatred for Shakur Stevenson came from, but like at the end of the day, like I say, this is why I had to distance myself from a lot of these niggas, and this is why I tell you I operate on my own. I'm my own entity. Okay, that's real talk. I mess with people, but I'm solo. That's real talk. I may be affiliated with people, and I'm gonna say this again, but I'm my own entity. Not dissing nobody, but I'm just keeping it real. It's just too much clown. It's just too much clown stuff on here. And like I said before, people like pushing agendas and trying to save face. Like I said, Frank Martin, he can't get out of this, man. It's a weak move. And then at the same time, Al Heyman make it. And by Al Heyman continuing to do this stuff, talk his fighters out of taking lucrative paydays and fighting on other promotional networks, Al Heyman making his fighters look like cowards. And I know what's going to happen. Y'all going to automatically, because see, I'm finna break this down. See what it's going to come down to. Y'all going to automatically look at the situation in Bob Arum's history, and y'all going to look at Frank Martin, and you automatically going to believe Frank Martin because it's Bob Arum and it's the white man. But then how many times have the black man, Al Heyman, just screwed over people? He screwed over Deontay Wilder and kept Deontay Wilder from getting a shot at Charles Martin to where he could get that second belt to it. So at least if there was a fight with Anthony Joshua or negotiation, Deontay Wilder could have fought Charles Martin, beat him, and be like, okay, well, I got 2 belts. You got 2 belts. But he sat up there and let Charles Martin go over there to the zone and fight Anthony Joshua. And Anthony Joshua had 3 of the 4 belts, and we never got Deontay Wilder, Anthony Joshua undisputed. And as far as Bob Arum letting his fighters go fight on other promotional net, he would have did it if the money's right. He let Jose Ramirez go fight on the zone versus Maurice Hooker. Like I said, they had a chance to do a purse bid. I don't want to hear this stuff. Like I said, they had a deal in place. Everything was worked out. It was going to be a very lucrative offer for Frank Martin. And basically, he got talked out of the fight. We already know who talked him out of the fight. Y'all sit up here and have this blind loyalty to Al Heyman, but Al Heyman tried to screw over Terrence Crawford multiple times. They tried to devalue Terrence Crawford. They went out of their way not to make this fight. They don't even believe in marquee black versus black fighters. They believe in these marquee black versus anything but black fighters. But y'all have this blind allegiance and this blind faith for Al Heyman and PBC, who don't give a rat's ass about black people in the black community. But then when people call them out, you try to question their blackness and try to call them coons while y'all sitting up there laid up with your white bitches or your other non-black bitches, but you trying to talk shit about me. Are you trying to question my blackness? Man, get out of here. Get out of here. Nobody can answer the question, okay, if it wasn't no deal, why did Frank Martin make us believe that there was a deal in place? This fight was announced on Tuesday. It was announced through social media that a deal was in place. They had a date, and they had a date. They had a location, which was Las Vegas, November the 16th, on a Thursday. Venue was yet to be determined. So this got announced on Tuesday. Frank Martin had 4 days to say, nah, hold on, y'all. Ain't no deal in place. It's cap. So then as soon as the news breaks that he pulled out of the fight, oh man, I didn't duck. Oh man, they gave me a low ball offer. I guarantee you that Al told him don't get on the internet and say nothing. He got on there anyway. But I already know why, because he been getting cooked. See, I told you I'm different from these other niggas on here, bro. I'm giving y'all the real. I'm not finna play these stupid ass games and try to play the devil's advocate and try to say, well, look at it from this point of view. This is the history of the PBC doing this stuff. Al Heyman talked Peter Quillen out of giving up his belt to fight Daniel Jacobs. It was never the same, and Peter Quillen was never the same after that fight. Never the same fighter ever again. That's what he do. And the reason why he hollering about belts don't matter is because that Bud took all the belts. See, the thing is, Tank is their last cash cow. Errol Spence was never really a cash cow. He was never a big draw, but Tank is. So at the end of the day, they got to carefully match Tank up. See, they whole moniker and they whole mission statement is basically trying to sell Tank as an undefeated fighter, and they're going to carefully match Tank up with certain type of styles, certain type of fighters. Like I said before, there won't be no Tank and Devin Haney anytime soon, unless a miracle happens, unless Devin Haney signs with the PBC. There won't be no Tank versus Shakur Stevenson unless the obvious happens. Because that's what they like to do, because they don't believe in their fighters crossing the street. The reason why they came up with this crossing the street obstacle, it was really to protect them. It wasn't about them trying to, protect fighters from them. It was the other way around. It was a built-in excuse to keep them from making fights with outside promotional companies. This is why I miss the 80s. And like I said, to some of you dudes that's doing boxing content, you don't know what the fuck you talking about. You don't know a motherfucking thing about boxing. You didn't have this BS in the 80s and the 90s. He was Don King. He would Rock Newman. He would Kathy Duke. He would Duba. Like, you didn't hear this crap. Fights got made. All this stuff about, he fight for this network, I'll fight for that network, man. Get out of here, man. I told you I ain't no clickbaiter. I told you if you want to go hear that bullshit where people be coming up with these catchy titles to get you to watch their videos, take y'all asses to those channels. You gonna get the truth on my channel. Frank Martin looking real bad right now. Al Heyman basically showing you that he don't believe that Frank Martin can win that fight. He don't think he can beat Shakur Stevenson, and that's just the bottom damn line. Not guarantee that's just the bottom damn line. He don't think Frank Martin can beat Shakur Stevenson, and he can't afford to have that fight happen and Frank Martin go over there and get his ass beat, because then that devalues a potential fight with Tank Davis. All I know is I hope you get paid handsomely to fight Tank. That's what they do. That's why they came up with that whole other side of the street stuff. It's just, if it ain't one thing, it's another with the PBC. And I'm just tired of this stuff. Like I said, the only reason why they made the Ryan Garcia fight because it was such a lucrative fight, but at the same time, they knew Tank was going to win that fight. And at the same time, they knew that a bunch of people, and particularly fans of Ryan Garcia, delusional Mexicans that thought that he had a chance of winning that fight, was going to get sucked into buying that fight. I told you guys over a year ago that Ryan Garcia was going to get knocked out by Tank Davis. I said that 2 years ago. I said if the fight ever happened, Ryan Garcia gonna get knocked out. Now, for some reason, I don't know why. Like I said, they don't want. I don't know why they don't want to fight Lomachenko. But I think at this point, I think Bob ain't gonna let Lomachenko go over there because he probably feel like he got screwed with the Frank Martin thing. Like I said before. It would help if Al Heyman would issue a statement instead of always hiding behind the scenes and having his cronies speak on his behalf. Because it make Al Heyman look bad by not addressing the media. And for all you Al Heyman nut huggers, Al Heyman don't have to talk to the media. Why not? Everybody else do. I mean, everybody always bringing up this dude's name. So why is he too good to talk to the media? But then you the same niggas that holler about how black people need to talk to black media. Well, last time I checked, isn't Al Heyman black? Because this is the same dude. If anybody says anything or challenges him, y'all question their blackness. You call him a house nigga. You call him an Uncle Tom. You call him a coon. So make that make sense. Make that make sense. Y'all sit up there and want to play this blackness card and all this stuff, but you still can't justify Al Heyman paying a white boy and Conor McGregor over $100 million who never had a professional boxing match in his life. The man made over $100 million. But y'all don't have a problem with that. But then some of these fighters is getting allowances and shit. But Conor McGregor got handed a boatload of money. Wasn't no problem paying Conor McGregor over $100 million. But then you talk about you don't even know if you could give Bud $10 million. But you dude sitting up there telling Bud how much money he should take. But you ain't got no problem with how much Conor McGregor made. Now you tell me who the real coons. Yeah. That's what I thought. Shut y'all asses up. So you could just shut that black shit up. Cause nobody don't want to hear that. Y'all, some of y'all are some of the biggest inconsistent fakes I ever seen in my life. Y'all wasn't hollering about how much money Conor McGregor was making for fighting Floyd, a white dude. But then you want to, but you sitting up, Terrence Crawford need to take what they give him. Terrence Crawford don't deserve 50-50. Listen, Manny, have no problem with what Manny got. Manny is an icon. He was a legend. Had no problem with what Manny got. But Conor McGregor, a dude who never had a professional boxing match in his life, got paid over $100 million. But y'all the same niggas that's sitting up here telling Terrence Crawford what he should take. So shut y'all asses up, man. Ain't nobody trying to hear that stuff. Like I said, this is the long history of the PBC doing this stuff. You saw me. You saw what Danny Garcia did. Hey, Danny, he didn't deny that he got offered $3 million to fight Terrence Crawford. And it actually probably would have been around 4, depending on what it did on pay-per-view. Oh, man, call Al Heyman. Y'all sitting up there saying this dude ain't got to talk to the media and stuff, but then these dudes got to say his name. They got to sign these NDAs. Now, like I said, Al Heyman almost screwed up the Steve Fulton fight with anyway. Allegedly. He tried to talk anyway out of that fight. I mean, he tried to talk Steve Fulton out of that fight. He's tried to stop Steve Fulton from getting the bag. Steve Fulton got paid $3 million for that fight. Like I said, I didn't like the end result, but at the end of the day, the plane ride is a little more comfortable, a little more bearing due to the fact that you're going to get a $3 million check, or you got paid, or you left there with a $3 million check, because usually you get your check or you get your direct deposit slip immediately following the fight. And then also I heard that Steve Fulton didn't train right for that fight, but that's on him. Look at the pattern. Look at the pattern. Earl Spence got the brakes beat off of him. The following week, Steve Fulton got knocked out. And it was like, nah, man, we can't let Frank, like, fight on ESPN and then he get whooped on by Shakur Stevenson. So like I said before, how is Frank Martin in any position to try to call shots? And for y'all sitting up there talking about somebody's worth, like, man, what is you talking about? Nobody really wasn't even checking for Frank Martin till like last year. Y'all acting like this dude has been fighting world beaters. Did y'all see how bad Frank Martin looked in his last fight? He barely won his last fight. Y'all could make an argument for real that he might have lost his last fight. But y'all sitting up here trying to insult people's intelligence. We knew what was going to happen to him. Listen, I already knew Shakur was going to win that fight if they would have fought. And like I said before, it don't matter what Frank Martin tried to come with and how some people try to save face and do they ode to PBC, Hail Mary to Al Heyman. At the end of the day, it's a bad look. It's a bad look for the PBC. It's a bad look for Al Heyman. It's a bad look for Frank Martin. You ain't in no position to be trying to holler about getting a low ball offer. I'm $1.2 ain't enough for you, and you wasn't even touching $100,000 your last couple of fights. Like, this is why I know it's cap. And y'all sitting up here believing some of this bullshit that some of these other dudes is putting out there. But y'all take the bait every time. I'm not trying to call nobody out, though, but then at the same time, you know who these dudes are. You know who these dudes are. I do my research, man. And I'm not capping and taking the side of Top Rank, but I'm just being honest. I done seen this way too many times with them. I've seen the PBC pull this move way too many times. Way too many times. And like I said before, like for real, y'all have this newfound resentment towards Shakur Stevenson. Hey, y'all sitting up there saying, well, and I'm gonna be honest with you. If you mad about what promotional company he with, I just gotta say this. Y'all dumb. Why do you care? Ain't none of y'all niggas getting a check from none of these promotional companies. You ain't getting a check from Al Heyman. You ain't getting a check from Bob Arum. You ain't getting a check from Eddie Hearn. You ain't getting a check from Oscar De La Hoya. So why do you care what promotional company somebody with? Now, here's the thing. Flashback. I'm finna expose y'all again for the people that's just so angry that Shakur Stevenson is not a PBC fighter. The PBC had first dibs with Shakur Stevenson. Floyd wouldn't pull the trigger. Floyd was BSing. He was BSing. He was playing games. Shakur Stevenson said out of his own mouth. The PBC had dibs at Shakur Stevenson first. They didn't make a move, so he went to Top Rank. So Shakur is supposed to put his professional boxing career on hold as he waits for the PBC to decide whether they want him or not. See, a lot of people ain't gonna tell y'all that. That's the difference between me and a lot of these other niggas on here. I don't have to say their names. They know who they are. They know who they are that be putting this stuff out there. So y'all need to remember that while y'all sitting up there talking this black shit. The PBC had first dibs at Shakur Stevenson, and they didn't sign him. So if he went to Top Rank, that's on the PBC. And then the PBC looking weak by not trying. This is why I know that they don't feel like, man, like I say, Top Rank be punking them. But then that's the story of America. Black people talking that tough talk, but when it's really time to be about that action, then all of a sudden they go another direction. So like I said, man, Frank Martin, I'm sorry. I'm not buying what Frank Martin trying to sell, because like I said, he had days to give people the real. So all of a sudden you get on the internet talking about you ain't ducking, Top Rank didn't send you a contract. Well, you should have said that on Tuesday. You had days. You had Tuesday, you had Wednesday, you had Thursday, you had Friday. And then all of a sudden, when the news breaks that you pulled out of the fight and said that you're no longer interested in the fight, then all of a sudden you want to play like, oh man, this is on Top Rank. They gave me a lowball offer. Well, like I said before, what was they trying to offer you to come to ESPN? And like I said before, Todd DeBuff never says anything, never issues a statement. Now, they were so pissed to where they came up, man, because at the end of the day, it make it look like they played them. You reneged on a fight. After you was talking all this stuff, you were sitting up there talking about what Shakur should do, talking about he needed to make sacrifices like what Devin Haney made. He talked all this stuff, but then when it came around for him to make a sacrifice, then all of a sudden he backed out of it. And I don't care if somebody send this to Frank Martin, because I don't care. I'm not worried about that stuff. At the end of the day, you just got to call it how you see it. He looked real weak. The PBC, Al Heyman, all them dudes have done Frank Martin a great disservice by talking him out of this fight. And so what if he fights Tank? It's starting to look as if the PBC is inferior to Top Rank. And that's all it come down to. I'm sorry that some people's feelings is hurt and they can't understand, but I just got to tell the truth. I'm telling y'all the truth because I care about y'all. And I'm not going to let y'all be deceived and fooled by some of these clickbait channels that's trying to make it look like this is even killed and that this is a back and forth thing and this is a you know what I'm saying, his word against. Listen, Nah, not buying that. Once again, there was never a actual negotiation between Shakur Stevenson and Devin Haney. They was just jawing back and forth. There was never a contract, and there wasn't no damn $8 million on the table for Shakur. That's a damn lie. Shakur Stevenson would have took $8 million to fight anybody. That was cap. And like I said, who was gonna put up? And when they were saying that out of and like I said, the difference between Shakur Stevenson is a proven commodity. He's won belts, so that's a little bit different. As Devin Haney didn't won belts. Terrence Crawford didn't take no damn 20, 30. You know what I'm saying? But like y'all was telling them to take. What has Frank Martin been done? And I'm just keeping it 100. What elite fighter Frank Martin didn't beat? Michelle Rivera is okay, but I wouldn't exactly say he was a world beater. And then that last dude he fought, he looked like, I mean, for real. He struggled against that dude. Good thing his chin held up because, man, if dude hit like Tank, Frank Martin would have been in trouble. Frank Martin did not look good in his last fight. And y'all know it. And I think Al saw that, where Shakur Stevenson looked superb in his last fight. And I think Al Haymon was like, nah, we can't take a risk like that. Like I said before, man, he got talked out of the fight. You done seen this story way too many times. Way too many times. And I know somebody gonna come in the comment section talking shit. I'm okay with that. What else? What else is new? But at the end of the day, prove to me that I'm lying. Prove to me that you haven't seen this with the PBC before over the years. Them talking their fighters out of fights or trying to talk their fighters out of fights. Being hesitant to do cross-promotional fights. Tell me that I'm lying. You can't. You can't. You know I'm telling the truth. But I mean, it's all good. It's all good. No harm, no foul. But y'all know I'm keeping it real. Like I said, I have no horse in the race. Like I said, I'm not on nobody's payroll. How many times have you told you heard me tell you guys? How many times have you heard me tell y'all? I'm not on nobody's payroll. When people be sitting up here like these other dudes, like the least attorney and other dudes that always get caught lying. How many times have you've been told by me? It's not my job if a fighter is a promotional free agent. It's not my job to tell these fighters who to sign with. The only thing I'm gonna do is if they sign with another promotional company is report it. It's not my job. And it's not these other dudes' jobs to do that neither, to be honest with you. But they call themselves a journalist. They want to be a content creator. But at the same time, they're a content faker. They're a content faker. And like I said, this needed to be said. This had to be said, man, because like I said, I was just getting frustrated listening to people putting out this bull. Listening to people put up these lies. Nobody can explain to me why did Frank Martin wait like almost 5 days before he said, I ain't ducking. Oh, it wasn't no contract. Oh, they sent me a lowball offer. Like, what is a lowball offer? First of all, you're going to fight on ESPN. You was going to fight in Las Vegas. You was getting compensated for not only fighting Shakur Stevenson, but you was going to get some extra money for fighting on another network. The reporter said that Frank Martin was going to make $1.2 million. That they added a couple of incentives. So how in the fuck y'all gonna sit up here and try to tell me that that they tried to lowball him when he never made more than 100,000 ever in his life, but he was gonna make over $1 million. Keep in mind, Sean Porter, I guess it's okay to say, because Sean Porter, do you know Sean Porter made $4 million fighting Terrence Crawford? And that came straight out of you know what I'm saying? That was almost 2 years ago. Sean Porter made like $4 million fighting Terrence Crawford. So if Sean Porter made $4 million, why wouldn't they? And that came from a very credible source. I ain't gonna say the person's name, but you should already know. So why would they try to lowball Frank Martin when they know that Frank Martin is fighting on another network? I mean, in the words of Forrest Gump, stupid is as stupid does. But if y'all believe that, then you go right ahead. If you believe that nonsense, like I said before, he was going to get paid a very lucrative deal. Even one of my homeboys that called me and said the same thing. He is, when I say he always defended the PBC, he flat out told me. I ain't gonna say that. He flat out told me that what Frank Martin did was a duck, and that Frank Martin pulled out of the fight. And he one of the biggest PBC apologists ever. I ain't gonna say his name. He's a friend of mine's, but he even told me we compared notes. And even he said that Frank Martin looking bad. Even he said it was confirmed that it was a deal that he was gonna make at least $1 million, but now they're saying that he was going to make an upwards of 1.2. So how in the hell he got a low ball offer? I know it's cap. But there you have it, you guys. You know, man. Exactly. Porter made $4 million. Might have been $5 million, depending on who you talk to, because somebody in his camp told me he actually made $5 million when all the final numbers rolled in, that he made $5 million. So how in the fuck Frank Martin was gonna get a low ball offer? Somebody please make that make sense. Anything more than 75 grand should be, like, for real. If he would have got offered 500,000, that would have been a very lucrative offer. The man was offered a 7-figure payday and walked away from it. I'm going to say this again. In the words of Dr. Umar, Frank Martin, you walked away from a 7-figure payday. I said, Frank Martin, you walked away from a 7-figure payday. I said, Frank Martin, You walked away from a 7-figure payday. Shout out to Dr. Umar, man. I had to go 3 times on. So listen, ain't nobody try to hear that, man. They looking real bad right there. Like I said, they all looking bad, man. Arrow looking bad. PBC looking bad. Al Heyman looking bad. Frank Martin looking bad. They just seem to have a fear of crossing the street. It seemed to be a top rank phobia. It's just not a good look, man. So like I said, I know it's people out there trying to put this on Shakur Stevenson, saying Shakur Stevenson was capping and all this kind of stuff. But I mean, if you dummies believe that, then you go right ahead. I'm gonna say this in defense of Shakur Stevenson. Say what you want to say about Shakur Stevenson, but I can tell you this one: nobody gives more access to black media than Shakur Stevenson. And shout out to Shakur Stevenson, real talk. That man always taking the time out to give the media access. And in particularly black media. So I'm just keeping it a buck. I gotta give people props for that, man. But like, you know, it is what it is, man. I'm sorry that some of you guys, you know, be getting misled by some of these content creators on here. I can't apologize on their behalf, but I can tell you, you're gonna get the real on my channel. I'm gonna try to give you as much credible information as possible. I'm not making no damn clickbait video. I'm not doing that stuff. I'm not doing that stuff because that's just gonna dilute my channel. It's gonna pollute it and dilute it. And I'm not being no view hoe. I'm not gonna put out anything just to get views and to get subscribers. I'm not gonna compromise my channel like that. But like I said before, I had to give you guys the real because you guys need to hear the truth, man. These dudes be playing y'all for fools, and I don't like that stuff. I think it's weak. I think it's cowardly, and then I think it's just bad for boxing. I'm not finna sit up here and defend somebody that be sitting up there making people look bad. You know what I'm saying? Making people from their own community look bad. Nah, I'm not doing that. Oh, appreciate the super chat, man. Appreciate the super. Yeah, go ahead, J Doggers. Appreciate that. Nah, it's just that they talk to him. Listen, man, it wasn't no deal. I'm going to say this again. Listen, I'll talk to Bill, man. There wasn't no damn $8 million for no Shakur Stevenson, man. That's a fucking lie. That's a lie. Like I said, you're talking about Shakur getting 25% out of basically $32 million, right? 8, 16, 24. Yeah, okay. So who was going to pay for that? Who was going to foot the bill? Who was going to foot the bill for that fight? Who was going to come up with a hedge fund? Who was going to invest in that fight and think that they could get a return? Okay, enough said. Anyway, you guys, appreciate it, man. I'm out.